Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. Well, I got my Ancestry.com results back about my DNA, and I'm not exactly thrilled with what they showed in the ethnicity report because I know that I have more than this in my DNA, but on the surface, they're just showing. Quite a bit less than what I know to be true. But I can understand due to the fact that they may have different standards than other DNA websites as to what they can show. And also, I did notice they have a time frame that starts from the 1700s on up. Therefore, whatever they're going to show you has to fit within their narrative and their time frame, along with their algorithms and calculations and all that stuff. So that's what they show you on the surface. And if you're okay with that, like if you don't want to dig any deeper, if you completely take their word for it that's right on the surface and you don't care or want to know if you have Native American or Asian or anything else that may be, that may come in just right there between maybe the 16 and 1700s, maybe like a full-blooded ancestor that comes in that time frame before the 1700s. If you could care less about that, then, this is fine. But if you're wanting to dig deeper, this type of report is kind of disappointing in my book. But there are ways to get to the truth, even though you won't get percentages on this. You won't find that truth in the percentages. Okay, you will just find it in the fact when you look at your cousins. But anyway, let's get started with what they say my results are as far as the surface. They are claiming I have 71% England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, 20% Ireland and Scotland, 5% Germanic Europe, 2% Norway, and 2% Sweden. And then it goes into detail about the migration patterns of people coming into the southern states and all that. Okay. This is quite different from, say, my 23andMe results. My 23andMe results, which, I've made previous videos about it and my heritage and my GEDmatch results and all that, but I'm going to briefly go back over that. As you can see, this is what 23andMe says. It shows that not only do I have the British, the Irish and all that, and of course the French and German, which on Ancestry it just lumped it together with the whole British stuff. Okay. Anyway, on this it separates it and gives me separate results for the French and the German. Also, it gives me Scandinavian, my Spanish, which is considered under the Iberian Peninsula. It adds your Portuguese and your Spanish, and it gave me 2.5% of that. Also, then it lumped other things together into the broadly categories of Europe, Northwestern Europe, Southern Europe, all that stuff. And of course, it even showed my African heritage. It showed, what it, I guess, could declare on the surface for it. Although I believe it's higher than that, and I have found that it is higher than that, but that's what they're putting on the surface. Okay, and like I said, I know it's due to their standards and algorithms and all that type of thing. Some companies, unless they're like such and such percent certain, that's all they're going to post. And of course, With 23andMe, you are allowed to go back and look at the different degrees of certainty from, say, 90% all the way down to, I think, 50%, 50 or 60%, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it does change. When I did check it, it did change quite a bit. So that's one good thing that 23andMe has over Ancestry, is that they will at least allow you to check even when their certainty changes. Okay. Then there's the MyHeritage results. Of course, this was a sample report. It was free. I just uploaded my raw DNA from 23andMe to get this report. Whereas if I probably had paid for it and bought like a kit from MyHeritage, it probably would have been a lot better. But hey, it was free, and at least it dug into something that 23andMe didn't. It showed my Middle Eastern and dug out my Greek ancestry. So I was grateful for that. So I've got that. Okay, but what I liked best of all was my JED match. My JED match, in my opinion, I think it was more truer than any of them. And of course, it was free. You just upload your raw DNA from wherever you had your DNA processed at or whatever. Say if it's 23andMe or MyHeritage or Ancestry or wherever. You can upload it to this website and it will show you what it finds. And the good thing about it is I think it goes way on back, like all the way, way on back, like quite a few hundred more years than any of the rest of them. And it digs in there and gets it. And also the good thing is it's kind of like a non-profit type of thing. Therefore, it's just research, people doing research, which I'm sure they get funded and they get money. And then also they do ask for donations and things like that. And therefore, I think since they don't really set a certain time frame that's, a short time frame, only 200 or 300 years, I think that is very helpful with them being able to dig into your DNA and show you, even on the surface, what it finds. There's not really, I guess what you say, boundaries or really any, I don't know, company standard policies. It just shows you what it finds, pretty much. And so, you just take it for what you see. And I tend to believe this. And as you can see, it showed quite a bit more. It showed, it dug into my African, my Asian, particularly my Ocean Asian. It showed that I had at least 1.5% of that. So I'm grateful for that. Okay. So that was that. And I want to say that, nobody in this or none of these companies are wrong. I do not feel that they are wrong with what they're showing you because, as I will explain, the truth is there, but you have to dig for it with these other companies. In other words, they're only going to show you the surface stuff within a certain time frame, the narrative that they want to tell. That's what you're going to see. But they will show you the truth, but you won't be able to get it in percentages. You'll just know that it's there. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me see. Let me find it. Okay. Starting out with one cousin, it shows my ethnicity that, ethnicities that we share. See, the good thing about Ancestry is you're allowed to go, just like with 23andMe and some of the rest of them, you're allowed to compare yourself to your cousins and see where you match up or whatever. Instead of this showing you on the chromosomes where you match up, Ancestry actually shows you on a map where you are, where they are, and where you blend together. In other words, You are the blue, okay, and your cousin is the bright yellow. All right. But where you start to mash and combine your DNA, where you match up, it starts turning from a dingy greenish yellow all the way up into a green color. And this right here is a huge giveaway for my Native American. As you can see with one cousin, excuse me, it actually shows that I do have Native American that I share with this particular cousin, and it shows, on the map, as you can see, where the areas that are blue, that's me. That's what I do not share with this cousin. And then where the bright yellow is, that's what they have that they do not share with me. And then the mixtures, that's where we start blending together and we start sharing DNA. And as you can see, on North America, down into parts of South America, where the Incas, the Mayans, and the Aztecs, where all those groups of Native Americans are, that's where it picks up our sharing of Native American ancestry all the way up into parts of North America. So, using this along with other things that I have found, I definitely know that I have Native American. But of course, like I said, it's not going to tell me on the surface. I have to dig for it. And I'm a curious person. I don't just take the answer that's on the surface. I'm one of these, I'll go dig. And, but again, if you don't want to know, if you just want to believe you're whitey, white, and you're okay with it telling you that on the surface, then fine. But if you actually want to dig into your ancestry and really find out what you are and where you came from, I would advise you to dig. Don't just take the answer on the surface. Dig and look, and you will find it. And so that tells me that at first I was thinking that it had to do with the gene pool that they were comparing me to, that maybe they didn't have enough of such and such gene pools and whatever. But the more I've got to thinking about it over the last few days, how can they even tell me this much if they don't have the gene pool to compare me to? Do you see what I'm saying? So the gene pool is there. It boils down to their time frame, the narrative that they want to tell, and maybe how much I actually have in me that fits within this time frame that they want to spin their story with, okay? So if it doesn't fit in there, even though they're going to show me that, yes, I do have it, but again, it's not going to be on the surface and it's not going to be given a percentage or anything like that. I just have to look for it. So DNA does not lie. In every test that I've taken, when I go to dig, I will find it. It's there. So, and all you got to do is look. It's not like I'm making it up or whatever. It's there for me to find. That proves that it is there, okay? So, people can say whatever you want, but the truth is the truth. And again, the DNA does not lie. So, they are showing me that it is there. So, okay, so that's my Native American. And also, I share Asian with this cousin. As you can see, I guess what you would say, the northern eastern part of Asia. Apparently, I have that in me, as well as the Polynesian and all, a few other patches of Asian. I do have this, I guess what you would say, Chinese and maybe Mongolia, because I did notice that popping up when I went digging deeper on GEDmatch, playing around with the different pies and information. I did notice some Mongolian stuff pop up, so I have a feeling that's got to be true. There's got to be something to it, or else it wouldn't show me as a dingy greenish yellow mixing with this person. So that's something that I share with them, because as you can definitely see, the bright yellow is them, the dingy greenish yellow into the greens, that is what we share. Okay, so if you're colorblind, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, that's what I see. So, and my vision ain't the best in the world, but that's definitely what I see on here. Um, okay, and here's another cousin. And of course, I've blocked out their names and everything for their own protection and everything. But as you can see, just like other places have shown, my Middle Eastern and all that, there it is. It's the dingy yellowish colors, going into the more greenish colors as you get on up to like the Sweden and Norway and all that places. But yeah, and you can see where they have their bright yellows that they do not share with me, and then you can see the dingier colors, the darker yellowish greenish colors. That's what they share with me, so I do have it. And same thing with the Spanish and Portuguese. As you can tell, that's in the dingy greenish yellow colors as well. So there's the truth right there. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into, again, the Asian information as well as the other. This is a cousin that I share that with. There's more Asian on down into the southern regions, on just above Australia, down in the what they call Melanesia areas, all up in there. I've got DNA from there, as well as the European. That's stuff that I share with this cousin. We share all of that. There's different patches up here that I do not share with them, as you can see in the blue. That's mine. And then the little patches of brighter yellow, that's what they have that I don't have. So, yeah. Okay. Then, let's see, it's the same pretty well. This is another cousin. They actually share more of they share the same thing with the Asian areas with me, but then they also share some of the upper European stuff with me. So they share a little bit more of that. Okay. All right. One thing that I really liked about Ancestry is that it shows migration patterns. You can click on that, and it will show you where your ancestors from. Looking at your DNA, it can show you where your ancestors basically traveled from to get to America. And what you can do is, and what I think is pretty cool, they will actually take names from your ancestry tree, depending on how far you went back with your tree, and they can show you where they're linked to, like where they were born and where they supposedly traveled to. And you can look and see if it matches up with your DNA. Like you can look on the map. When you zoom into it, it will show patterns of DNA and all that stuff, and you can kind of see if that ancestor matches up with where your DNA is supposed to be, and that will kind of help you with your tree, as to kind of seeing as if you're on the right track. Like if you don't know already and you've kind of guessed and just done research or whatever, this is very helpful with helping you with that. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool thing that they offer. Okay. Then with Ancestry also, just like with the other companies, they show you where you have cousins and basically your kinfolk. It shows you, whether or not they classify as your cousin or your mother or your brother or your sister or uncle, aunt, whatever. It will show you that as well. And of course, I've blocked out the names and everything of these people because, for their privacy and everything. But I just wanted to show that on this page, that's where they show that. Okay. So basically, I would like to say that I'm kind of torn a little bit because I was a little disappointed with what Ancestry showed me on the surface, but like I said, if I want to know the truth, I can just dig for it. Or just go looking. You don't even really have to, what you say, dig. You just go looking. You just compare yourself to your cousins, and you can see the truth, the real truth. And I was also kind of disappointed in their time frame and all that, just going back to the 1700s and whatever. But as far as your tree and stuff like that, and especially like if you buy their subscription, which I don't know if I am or not, I'm kind of on the fence about it. It just depends. Maybe within the next, few months or whatever, I may decide to actually buy a subscription. With that, you can go deeper. Like you can actually look at people's trees and all that stuff. But like with the free account, you can't look at their trees or whatever unless they invite you and stuff like that. But still, at least you know that you have cousins, they have trees, and you might can contact them and ask them to be invited on your tree. And that way that will help you connect with them and maybe see how you're kin or whatever. So it is a good tool. As far as that, I think Ancestry is great. And here's the difference, I think, with Ancestry and places like 23andMe, whatever. If you want to know about ethnicity, basically just your ethnicity, I would say go with 23andMe, and if you're not happy, then go with GEDmatch or whatever, and that would be a really great way to find out, your ethnicity. But if you want to find a little bit about your ethnicity back to like the 1700s, and if you want to have a really great tool to help you with your family tree, then go with Ancestry. And what I love about them is they have a thing to where you can build a huge tree and it's free, and that's great because a lot of places have like a limit, like you can only have like 250 or whatever. Like my Heritage, you can only have like 250 people on your tree for free, whereas on Ancestry, as of right now, it seems to me like it's unlimited. Like you can put as many people as you want. Now, there may be a limit that I'm unaware of, but as of right now, that's what it appears to me, because I've got a huge tree on this site. So I think that's wonderful. It's great, and I love that. I love that feature about Ancestry, and please keep it that way. I would really appreciate it. Okay. All right, having said that, being a solution type person, I have some ideas that I think would make Ancestry even better for people like me who want to know both your ethnicity, like your deep ethnicity, like what you are, what you're made of, something that will really help you with your family tree, go way on back. I feel like if they would offer a feature that would allow you to go on back, like starting with now, like the moment you do your DNA and get it processed and ready and whatever, from that moment on back, I think it would be wonderful if they had a feature called like Time Warp, Ancestry Warp, whatever the heck they wanted to call it. If they had a feature like that to where you could go and you could click on each thing and go way on back, like maybe like to the 900s. How cool would it be to go back to like, the 1000s, 900s, whatever. And it will show how your DNA changes through the years, because you're going to get different mixtures of people, or at least if you've had, different people come into your family, it's going to show kind of a time frame where all those people kind of come into your family. And I just think that would be awesome. I think that it would be wonderful. And I would just love to see them offer that. And if they don't want people being, angry or mad or whatever, maybe they can say something like, we're offering this with a 50% degree of certainty, or something like that, to where, people won't kick up such a ruckus about it because it's not 90% or whatever. To me, just the 50% certainty would be great, because chances are they're right. Because as they have shown, even, like I said, stuff that you have to go looking for, they're right. It matches up with what I have found. So, if they could just offer it to where you can go on back with your time thing, I think that would be great. I would love to see a feature like that offered. So to me, that would make it even better. And of course, I have an idea that I will talk about in another video that deals with people who want to take things even further and maybe get into playing games and things like that using historical things, different time frames or whatever. I think it would be neat if, along with your time warp feature, if Ancestry offered you an avatar that you can kind of like, it will change, the skin tones will change, especially if you have different things in your DNA and family or whatever as you go back in your ethnicity. Like if you have Native American or African or whatever, as it goes back in time, those mixtures will change the skin tone. So it'd be neat if it had an avatar that offered that, as well as a few different changes of clothing for that time frame, to where you can kind of pick out, a different, different set of clothes that's offered during that time frame of when, a person would have lived, even, all the way back, like I said, to 900s or whatever they, it is believed that people, wore during that time frame. It'd be neat if you had a few choices to where you could dress up your avatar. And of course, starting out, whatever you are now, it can give you that hair color. And then, of course, it can change that hair color as it goes back in time, where it picks up that maybe your DNA has changed, to a different hair color. I think that would be kind of cool. And you can pick out which avatar, or which, avatar within a time frame that you prefer, and that can be your avatar. Like if you prefer an avatar from the 1800s, dressed a certain way, then that can be your avatar for your Ancestry picture. I think that would be wonderful. Okay? And then when it comes to the gaming thing, which, like I said, I will explain that in another video, people can upload the avatar, and if they want to, they can upload the map, their ethnicity map, along with the avatar, to a website that is connected up to Ancestry, to where you can go and you can play games. You can go to different time frames where different historical things have happened, and you can go pick up clues. You can be in a war, and you can play war games or whatever, like with other people on Ancestry who also have an account. You can really have fun, play with your cousins and all this stuff, and you can go into a whole different world, with this. But of course, it has to be people who are on Ancestry, who have done the ethnicity stuff. This would be offered to them, maybe with a prepaid a subscription thing, like you pay. Say, like if you prepay for 30 days of being able to go to this website and play the games and all that stuff, you can do that. But I think that would be neat. Instead of like a continuously monthly thing, you can just, pay it as you go. Unless you wanted to do like an automatic thing to where you would pay monthly or yearly or whatever. However Ancestry wanted to do it. But I think that would be neat. It would make things more engaging, more fun, But, and it could be another way for Ancestry to make money, and it can employ gamers and, people, programmers and graphics people and all that type of thing. Build up a whole virtual world or whatever. But anyway, like I said, I will explain that in another video. I think I'm telling too much about it as it is, but I just think that would be neat. So I hope that the people at Ancestry are listening to me, and that they will take my ideas into consideration. So, if you are interested, you pretty much know everything about me, including my DNA. So, hey, hit me up, send me a message and let me know what you think. So, anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed watching this video, that I didn't bore you too bad. So we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.